Alright, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, welcome to the channel. I am currently sitting in an Airbnb I just recently furnished, so this isn't my normal house. And the reason I say that is because I am buying real estate now. I've been wholesaling for a long time, and just as like a credibility thing, but also to record in a nice spot. Onto this video, one of the most common comments I get on my videos is, Alec, how do I get started in wholesaling? How do I get started in real estate? So in this video, I'm gonna go over exactly how I got started, but not only how I got started, how you can get started this month. Literally this year, you could make 6 figures if you just follow exactly what I'm gonna say. It's not even an if you will make 6 figures, it's a when will you make 6 figures, but it's up to you to stay consistent. If you just try it for a week, if you try it for a month, you will not find success. I've seen so many people start in this business for a month, 2 months, not do a deal, and then they stop. A little bit of backstory about how I got started in real estate. I started in 2020. I was working in sports pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, the sports world shut down. They let everybody go. From working in sports to now being unemployed. Like, what the heck? 2020 goes by, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I found wholesaling real estate, and I decided to start wholesaling real estate September, October of 2020. Started listening to podcasts nonstop. All I do is listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. I just studied the game. I probably took maybe 1 to 2 months studying the game. That's step number 1, self-educate. So if you're watching this video, great job, because you are in the right place. There's so much free game out there. You don't have to pay for a mentor. You don't have to buy a course. Don't feel obligated to pay for anything. You could easily make 6 figures just off of YouTube education. And the second thing is, find your why. Is it to retire your parents? Is it to not have money stress? Every family has that person that breaks the chain of poverty. Maybe you're that next person. I love that quote because it's true. Money stress is the worst stress. I've had money stress before and it sucks. My why was to, 1, not feel like a bum. I was unemployed, living with my mom. It wasn't as deep of a why as some people that I need to make money to support my kid. But like, my why was, I don't want to be a bum. It's developed over the years, but I'm going to keep it real. Just figure out what it is and then figure out the strategy that you want to use. What I did from there was I started driving for dollars. I used Deal Machine as a driving for dollars app. It's like Google Maps, but each house has like a little button. So as you're driving down the street, it tracks where you're driving. If you check out the description, I have the link to Deal Machine in the description. I get paid on that. So that's a great way to support me. I put all my, systems and everything I use in the description. If you use those links, I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, get Deal Machine, drive for dollars, add Dumby houses, build a list, get like 1,000 properties. Now we're gonna skip trace that. And this is exactly what I did too. I got my list, I then skip traced it. There's a lot of skip tracers out there. It's overwhelming. Do I use batch? Do I use PropStream? Do I use Deal Machine skip tracing? The skip trace I use is Kind skip tracing. K-I-N-D, Kind skip tracing. I swear it has the same exact data as PropStream, Deal Machine, and all those other websites, but the difference is it's 3 cents a skip trace. Some skip tracers are charging 20 cents. That means you're getting like 5 times as much data for the same price. And to put that in perspective, you're paying $200 to skip trace 1,000 leads. It's like, okay, that's still not a lot, but now try 10,000, 20,000. It adds up. With Kind, you're paying $30. That means for 10,000 leads, you're paying $300. You can actually pull lists through Kind and skip trace it all for the 3 cents. It's an amazing deal. I am plugging them heavy in this video because they also sponsored this video, so they're this video sponsor. Also my first ever video sponsor, so shout out to them. I actually asked to be sponsored because I knew I was making this video and I was like, hey, I want to plug you guys like heavy. And he's like, yeah, I got you. So that's why I'm like talking about them so much. Highly recommend it. Even if they didn't sponsor me, I would still be talking them up. So now that we skip traced it, skip trace essentially means like get phone numbers. So now that we have the phone numbers, we're going to be moving those phone numbers to a dialer and we're going to be calling it. This is the part that a lot of people don't like. You just have to suck it up. You have to suck it up. Cold calling sucks. It is what it is. I did it for a long time. I cold call every once in a while. And if you gamify it, it's really not that bad. I used to cold call, I used to play video games, watch Netflix, watch YouTube. I didn't overthink it. As Shia LaBeouf says, like just do it, just do it. If you want to start this business, that's what it's going to take. Money doesn't come easy. So what a dialer is essentially you get these phone numbers. You can manually call them. Boom, 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 boom. right? You call 100 people, probably 80 of them won't answer the phone. From those 20 that answer the phone, 15 will say not interested. And then of those 5 that remain, maybe you'll get 1 lead. And if you're manually dialing, you're doing it wrong because you're not productive. But if you use an auto dialer, you're making 2,000 calls a day, 1,000 calls a day. You need an auto dialer. There's 2 dialers I recommend. The first one is batch dialer, and then the second one is smart dialer. I like smart dialer a lot now because I also use smartphone for like follow-up, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I only recommend using those 2 dialers. I have links in the description for affiliate links for both of them. There's free trials. You put those in there and then you can start dialing. And that's the best way to talk to a lot of people at once. Now, a lot of people overthink this part too, and it's like, okay, now what do I say when I'm talking to the seller? This part's easy, don't overcomplicate it. You're not trying to convince anybody to sell. I get this DM a lot. How do I convince this person to sell? You're not. We're looking for somebody that needs to sell. That's what we're doing. Don't get that confused. You're not convincing anybody. You're not using some mindset tricks to convince somebody to sell their property. That's not what we're doing. Check out my cold calling videos. I have a million cold calling videos. Couple tips of cold calling is don't waste time. Okay, at the beginning of the call is precious. The first maybe 10 seconds of a cold call is precious. Every second matters because you're trying to buy as much time as you can. So don't waste time asking them how they are, what company you're with, and all that stuff. This is what a cold call should look like. Hey John? Yeah, this is John. Hey John, this is Alec. The reason I'm calling, I drove past your property, which is true. You drove past their property. Just wanted to see if you ever considered selling. We're getting straight to the point. We're not going, hey John, this is Alec with ABC Capital Home Investment Properties. How are you today? First of all, John doesn't care what company you're with. My guy's doing stuff. Like, he doesn't care. Second of all, does John want to tell you how he's doing? No. Whenever I get cold calls and they ask me how I'm doing, I hang up. How am I doing today? Like, who are you? I'm busy. Get to the point. John knows within the first 10 seconds why we're calling. From there, I would say watch some videos to see how I handle the cold call conversation. A rough idea is if they get angry right away, don't waste your time. If they say, no, I'm not looking to sell. Okay, no problem. Do you have any other properties or land that you're looking to sell? That's another little secret. We're getting into a little complicated. I just want to like surface up a little bit. I would always say whenever they say they're not looking to sell, ask them if they have other properties or land that they're looking to sell. Always ask that question. Sometimes they aren't selling that one, but they're selling a different one, and that one's a good deal. You never know. An ideal cold call is that they're looking to sell, and then we can get information on 4 things. Condition. When was the last time you renovated the kitchen? When was the last time you renovated the bathroom? How old is the roof? How old is the electrical, the AC? Timeline. When are they looking to sell? If they want $100,000 for a house that is worth $500,000, but their timeline isn't for a year, it doesn't make sense if you offer them that because they're not going to sell no matter what. Even if they got full asking price, they're not going to sell. When you're asking timeline, kind of make it like a finesse. You feel me? Don't just, what is your timeline to sell? Be like, okay, well, it sounds like a nice place. How soon were you even looking to sell it? The next thing after timeline is going to be motivation. Super important. These aren't in any order, by the way. So what's motivation? Hey, I mean, it sounds like a nice property. Why are you even looking to sell it? If you're living there, why are you even looking to sell? Remember what I said at the beginning. We're not trying to convince somebody to sell. We're trying to find somebody that wants and needs to sell. The final pillar is price. Here's a couple price questions. Did you have a price in mind of what you're looking to get? When they say, tell me your number, then you just look on Zillow. Find the lowest one. Throw out a low number and just see how they respond. No, I want at least 200. Bam, you got their number. Now, when it comes to making the offer, there's no perfect offer formula. The golden rule is usually a buyer wants it 70% of ARV so they can make some money on it. So let's say a house is worth $100,000, 70% of that is, $70,000 and it needs, 10,000, 20,000 repairs. You really want to get this property around like 40 to 50,000. That's like the universal rule of wholesaling, but it doesn't have to be followed. Best way to do this is to network with buyers and find out what your buyers are buying. So now we're transitioning into building a buyers list. There's 3 steps in a wholesale business. The first step is lead generation, getting the leads. So that's cold calling. The second phase is acquisition. That's following up with the leads. The third phase is disposition, and that's selling the deal. Finding buyers is part of the disposition, but the reason I'm going to go into this now is because is. If you can find buyers, you can ask them, hey, I spoke to this seller, he wants this amount, is this even something you'd consider? Buyers would be open to having those conversations with you because they want good deals, and if they see you're actively looking for deals, they know will be the first one to receive it. Maybe they can get a good deal off of you. The two best ways to find buyers is go to Facebook groups. Join every single Facebook group in your local market. So let's say you're in Miami. So we're going to join every single Miami real estate group. We're going to join every single South Florida real estate group. And we're just going to scroll through those looking for buyers and looking for email addresses. The second way is going to networking events. You meet real buyers at these networking events. Don't try to BS these buyers, man. Like, remember, these buyers are millionaires. Like, these aren't just some Joe Schmoes. Like, these are millionaires. So tell them, hey, I am a new wholesaler. I'm cold calling multiple hours a day. Can I send you deals? They'll be like, hell yeah. How do you provide value to a millionaire, to a real estate millionaire? You bring them deals. Now, while we're cold calling these lists, I want everybody who's watching this to make me a promise that you're going into this, you're not expecting a deal for at least 3 months. Because I don't want this expectation of, hey, I've been doing this for a month, 2 months, I have no deal. So make me that promise that you'll set expectations to no deal within the first 3 months. The second thing is, we're not going to create an LLC. I did my first 3 deals without an LLC. I just wrote my personal name, Alec Schaal. The seller doesn't even know, like, they just see a buyer, like, they don't even care. As long as you present yourself well and you present yourself as an authority and you present yourself as credible, they don't care. Your name is the buyer. Another tip is call yourself for at least 1 to 2 months before hiring, even if you have money to hire. That way, 1, you're building the consistency to do it yourself if you need to, and 2, you're able to train it better because you know all the rebuttals and all the BS that sellers tell you over the phone. Realistically, after a month, you know how to respond. It's not rocket science. The sellers, they all say the same thing. You know, either not interested, how'd you get my number? You get the same questions every time. Make a promise that you will not ask me this question or ask this question about the best times to cold call. There is no best time to cold call. Just do it. When you have free time, do it. If you have time from 9 to 11, do it. If you have time from 6 to 8, do it. I would say the best time to call is 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., but call it anytime you have free time in that. Cold call on weekends, cold call on Saturdays, cold call on Sundays. You want to make money, you want to do a deal, just do it. Another tip for like market is wholesale in your local market. There's deals to be done in your local market. And if it's overly competitive, that's good. That means that when you find a deal, it's just going to be worth more money. Start local, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Get good relationships with buyers. If you want to bring buyers on your seller's appointments, maybe you met a good buyer at a real estate meetup, bring them on your seller's appointments, more credibility. The last part about the lead generation side is the systems that I recommend you use. All of these will be in the description. Skiptracing, which is the video sponsor, but also my favorite Skiptracer. PropStream is about $100 a month. You put the addresses in there and you can see comparables and you can see buyers. Comparables are just properties that sold in the area within 6 months ago. I talked to the seller of this property, you know, he has a 3-1 and he wants $100,000. Okay, well there's a 3-1 over here that sold for $120 and it was fully renovated. It's not a deal. Batch Leads is a really good tool, same as PropStream, but Batch Leads also has a list organizer, Batch Dialer, Smart Dialer, whichever one you prefer. I like both. Smartphone, we'll talk about smartphone in a little bit, is what you're going to be using to follow up with sellers. Launch Control, it's texting. That's another part that I didn't get into because I do more deals calling than texting, and I didn't want to overcomplicate it in this video, but texting is another great tool. Carrot, you don't need this for a while, but Carrot's a really good website host. It's like a turnkey real estate website. Those are the softwares I recommend. Now onto the acquisition side. So we cold call, we get the leads. Now what? We're gonna have an Excel sheet, a separate Excel sheet with leads and follow-up dates. You're gonna put into your calendar, call Lucy Tuesday at 1 p.m. You're gonna stay in front of these people. You're gonna use your calendar to follow up with them. If you have money to spend, you can get a CRM. A CRM is called a customer relation manager. The leads get sent to the CRM and you put all your notes in there and everything like that. The CRM I highly recommend is called InvestorFuse. It's a CRM specifically for real estate investors. It is gonna bring you maybe $100 to $200 a month. So if you don't have that in the budget, you don't need it right away. Maybe close your first few deals, but eventually you are gonna want a CRM. Back to what we were saying before is once the lead is interested, we're gonna put them into Excel, update the calendar. You wanna stay in front of these people. The average deal right now in my business takes 3 months of follow-up. That means you wanna stay in front of these people for 3 months, and when they're looking to sell, you're gonna be there. Actually, actually just yesterday got a deal that took 2 years of follow-up. It was crazy. I've been waiting for this deal for 2 years. You know, sometimes you have to put in that work. It's all in the follow-up. We're not going to be using our cell phones. We're going to be using a smartphone. It has a really good app. You could dial from the app, and we're going to be manually dialing for the follow-ups just because they're more targeted calls. If you're on a budget, you can also use Google Voice, which is free. The smartphone does have a paywall behind it. And if you really don't want to use either one, use your cell phone. I used my cell phone. I still use my cell phone. And then once they're ready to sell it, when you get the contract, just get a free contract. Don't overthink it. You just need something that says like purchase price, address, closing date, you know, as is purchase. Nothing too crazy. I think a simple contract of 2 or 3 pages is fine. Sometimes sellers want like a normal real estate contract, which is like 12 pages. Learn how to fill that out. There's lots of YouTube videos and stuff. I'm sure many of your buyers would even help you with a contract if they like the deal. So yeah, that's the exact strategy I used. Nothing was held back in this video. Maybe I'll do future videos like whiteboards going even more in depth. Just copy what I just said in this video. Keep your why in mind at all times. Watch motivational videos, go to the gym, do whatever you gotta do. Take it seriously. Stay consistent with it for at least 3 months. If you're watching this video, you're in the right spot. And yeah, thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it. I hope this provided some value. If it did, you know, like this video, comment. I appreciate all the engagement, and subscribe. Check out my description for all the softwares I use. I get paid on them. It's a good way to support the channel. Thanks for watching.